So at the end of the year, it's like, great, you delivered all these cool projects. Here's like a big, huge chunk of money, and that's a significant portion of your overall salary. It's a bonus at the end of the year. And in your brain, you're like getting paid not that much every week, so you're like, you don't get all high and mighty and thinking you're amazing. You're more like, I love to be here and I love to do this. And then when you get that big payout at the end of the year, it doesn't just like screw up the whole psychology of you working in a creative industry versus a non-creative industry. So it's really good, I think, for non-creative industries because, it's all about maintaining the business. So if you are looking to slay dragons and be the best, Amazon's probably not the place for you, because it's not about being the best, it's about being the guy who's always there. Like the most valuable person to Amazon is the person who is available to make sure stuff keeps running. It's about keep the money train going. And that's for the majority of the project. So I'd say go for it. The worst you can do is come out with really good compensation and knowing that you want to work somewhere else, and you'll have the ability to do so and the resume and the experience to make it happen. So if you got the opportunity, I'd go for it, unless you already have $1 million bajillion and don't need it. So let's see, is there anything that's, let's look at actor.cpp. Let's look at begin play and see if there's anything in here. Set lifespan, register all actors, T-inline components, get components. An actor begins play, we expect only to not be auto-register. Let's see. Get all new actors on frame Unreal. So I'm basically going to have to Google, is there a notification when an actor is spawned in Unreal? Currently I have a list of all actors, and I want to know, surely better use event dispatchers and bind to OnDestroyed. Unfortunately, you'll have to manually register the newly spawned actor with your manager. You can't bind on spawns. Different day job, or are you buckling down on this project? I have acquired enough capital over the last 8 years of my various game development jobs that right at the moment I have enough funds to just screw around for a number of years. So I moved somewhere super cheap, bought a house, got all the stuff set up, and I'm basically just in my fortified bunker basement working on my own projects. That's kind of one of my life goals, is like before I'm like super old and crotchety, that I actually work on some of my own games and see if that goes anywhere. So I'm buckled down on this project. That's what I'm doing. And depending upon the success, like I'm very fortunate to have like a big name, or a bigger name than otherwise, in that I'm working on Fighty at Brackenwood with Adam. But I want to see if it goes anywhere. Damn, well, it's a lot of work. It also helps that I never changed how I lived after college. Like, I went into the industry, and the games industry as an engineer pays pretty well. So one of the things is I never changed my habits and my lifestyle, and I just put all the money away immediately, just without even looking at it. So I never became the person buying $10 pieces of toast. And when you don't look at your money, it can grow pretty quick. It's just if you change your lifestyle, so all of a sudden you're like spending $100 on every dinner, or every weekend you're going somewhere and doing a whole bunch of crazy crap, you just lose money and you don't even realize where it's going. So it doesn't look like I can actually do a whole hell of a lot with this. Let's see, actor life cycle. I mean, is there a delegate here that I can actually look at? Actor.h. Is this the right actor? This is the site of game framework. This is the site of PhysX. So yeah, this is the right one. You get cursor on click, release, on destroyed, end play, destroyed actor. So at least if we were... So there is an end play. I'll write these down, so... It's got an on destroyed signature as well. How old am I? Getting into those personal questions now. No, I am 29 years old. I am very fortunate to be where I am. And that has to do with a lot of work as well. Yeah, when I started working in the games industry, I was working at Electronic Arts on Dragon Age Legends, and they had us working hourly. After the EA Wives lawsuit there, they brought on level 1 engineers as hourly employees as opposed to salary, because they weren't, you know, if you're salaried, they can just work you to death. So level 1 employees were hourly, and I was hourly, and I was just working 80-hour weeks right after college. And just, if you're working 80-hour weeks and getting paid double overtime for those 80 hours, you pay off your college loans real quick. So I worked my hands to the bone during that first year and just wiped everything off from college, which was just amazing. Not many people get that. That was... Because a lot of people, at least I've seen with work and all that stuff, like they may have the drive to get it done, but then, you know, like when I was cashing in 80 hours, I was cashing in, you know, like 120 hours worth of pay, right? Not just 80 hours. Because of overtime when you get over 40, and then like what, double overtime when you go over 60. So it was like, I paid a lot of damn money for that. They promoted me the next year and I got paid less. It was really funny in the meeting when they promoted me. I was like, damn it! And they're like, yeah, we know, we're paying you too much, so we're promoting you. I'm like, well, that's okay. Maybe I won't work 80 hours now. So we're looking for some basic stuff here. if there's any sort of actor spawn function that we can look for. There's like rotations and all this stuff. I'm not seeing a global actor registry though. So I mean, I don't want to like iterate through all of the actors every frame. Let me just see, like, is there a get new actors on frame? Well, let's see. There might be something in world, right? It's gameplay statics. Is that where gameplay statics? That's CPP. Like get actors. Let's see. How do you work 80 hours a week without having health issues? You're 24 and a single man. That's how you're able to do it. Because it's a lot easier to do it when, you know, you can just throw everything into it and you don't have to do anything else in your life. You can just focus. And I was working, you know, every day, and just do that for a year. And at that age, if you're not like drinking a whole bunch of alcohol and like killing yourself on drugs, stuff like that, if you got decent genes, you'll do okay. Just when you get older, or if you got something else going on that you're not taking care of, like you're not taking care of your teeth, you're drinking alcohol to try to, you know, zone out at night. I also walk to work every day, right? Like I was doing stuff right. Like I wasn't spending an hour and a half commuting to work. I was walking a mile to work and back every day. You know, basic stuff like that. So I wasn't just sitting at the desk the entire time, and the time when I wasn't at my desk was fine. So we need like get all actors of class. So it's going to be G engine get world actors in world. So it's going to be world.cpp, and we're going to actors. Let's see. When I was 22, I was probably like a junior in college. Let's open up world.h. So we are actually t-iter world. So it's a U object, a list of layers, group actors currently active. So we have world has active group actors. Now the other question is, do all the new actors get added to the end of the T array of actors? Because what I could do is I could just look backwards through the actor list, and that would give me all the new actors for the frame. Well, EA is a pretty big thing. I do not know an Andrew Cult. So what, he worked over on EA Sports, probably. Yeah, FIFA's a big one. He was only there for eight months. Yeah, I wouldn't have known him. Tiburon and all the sports stuff is very different from like the stuff I was working on. I was working on BioWare, and it's like, you know, different places completely separated. I was at EA headquarters in San Francisco, so I probably a very different place than where he was. So anything else in here? We have the array of actors, authority game mode, avoidance manager, level collections. Current level, change, should take, player controllers, pawns, physics, broadcast. These are just dispatch events. Well, I'm not sure about how everything works. Is that Burnaby is in Canada or whatever? Can't tell you there. Post-process, audio volumes, origin, worldcom. Like, EA is also a really good place to work. They've gotten a lot better since the whole EA Wives controversy. Canada, though, correct me if I'm wrong, I believe they've got that high-tech law up there in British Columbia, which basically exempts businesses that run high-tech operations like engineering and the rest from certain labor protections. And in some places, the only reason they can't like lock you in is because of fire codes and stuff like that. Otherwise, it'd be totally illegal to just lock your employees in and force them to work. And that's kind of a competition thing to try to get people from the U.S. Yeah, no overtime, none of that sort of crap. So you guys are behind the times up there in terms of your labor laws for your engineers. You need to get on that, because you guys are getting screwed. Not getting paid what you should, because your time is valuable. And a lot of people have been coming from British Columbia and other places back down into like Washington State to Seattle to get jobs at Microsoft and Amazon and some of the other players there, and you know, sending money back to their family in Canada. I saw a lot of people doing that. Yeah, I'm just not seeing anything in here. Oh, okay. Maybe I should take a look at cleanup actors then. Let's see if IntelliSense can actually find this one. IntelliSense found it. How amazing. So, levels, blah. Actor index. First dynamic index. Actor 0. Specialist should never be removed. Remove null injuries from the array. We're iterating backwards to avoid unnecessary mem copies during removal. Just by currency. Yeah, exactly. That's some stuff right there. So it's level. Level owns the actors, is what it looks like. Level is levels and level index on the world. So we should be looking at the actors inside of level.cpp. Is it a T array? Is this even the right level? Doesn't look like it. Yeah, this looks like it. Yeah, so it's a T-array of actors used by F-actor, iterator, base, and derived classes. Okay, so the level has a T-array of actors. Yeah, all I know when I graduated from college back in like 2009, the housing market collapsed and I couldn't find a job anywhere, so I had wanted to get a job in Washington State. Was not able to do that. I had to just take what I could get down in San Francisco. And actually finding a job was just awful. It took me over 4 months to find a job after college, and that was like serious job hunting. And even then when I did get my job, I had broken into a party at GDC that I shouldn't have been into, and basically was just complaining to everybody at this party that was full of engineers working in various companies that I needed a job. You know, drunkenly like, God, I can't find a job. And, you know, eventually I ran into somebody who actually was hiring. But I was not supposed to be there. So, this actor's add referenced object. What we want to do is we want to see if there's any order to these things. Yeah, I was just super strung out. I hadn't slept in like over 36 hours after driving from Seattle down to GDC. One of the people I knew from college was like, "Hey, there's this party over here," and it had been going on for a couple hours. So we basically went to the door and just like told the bouncer at the door that we should be let in, and that we were engineers and stuff like that, and just flat out lied to him. And he's just like, "Sure, just go on in." And then we, were able to go up the steps to this place in San Francisco that was full of people from EA, and they were just giving out free beer and all that sort of stuff. And I was so messed up by the time we got there. Okay, so they actually do sort the actor list. So we can't rely on the order of the actors at all. We cannot rely on the order of actors. So we're pretty much screwed for... Oh wait, there's new actors. No, that's just a new actor array. That's not an actual new actor list. So we're pretty much screwed for that. Sort actors such as parent actors will appear before children actors in the list stable sort. Yeah, so that's how we got in there. Is we just lied our way in, and then I just went in to get in line for free beer, and that was just... I somehow got right behind the people who needed a server engineer for their Facebook game, and I was complaining that I was a server engineer and couldn't find any work. So they started like interviewing me on the spot, and by the end of the night they were like, "Oh, you should work with us and all this stuff, and we'll meet you tomorrow morning, and we should go to the headquarters and talk." And then in the morning I got the phone call that everybody was too drunk to make it to the meeting, and of course I was too drunk to make it to any meeting too. So I just met the producer outside of a coffee shop where we were both horribly hungover, and I was eating this tiny muffin, and I was like eating it the slowest I've ever eaten a muffin in my life. Just like And then they hired me the next day, so good times. See, I don't see any, like, yeah, the order is totally screwed. So I don't see any real optimizations we can make. I think we're basically just going to have to iterate over every actor. And they're doing that same damn thing too. Like, there's for every actor doing shit all the time here. So if we're already iterating over every actor once or twice or 30 times, what's one more, right? Yeah. So yeah, to hell with this crap. Let's just do what needs to be done. Fight the good fight. So, register actor and unregister actor. Basically, we're going to get an actor registry inside of our player proxy object. And what we're going to do is we're going to bind our player proxy to every actor? Or every actor that's got a primitive component on it. Not sure. Yeah, I guess what we'll do, because I need to know when to remove things. And the component IDs are specific to the primitive components. Alright. Well, let's find out. Need to get back into the get my head back into this. So for every actor in the world, yeah. So if it's not pending kill, we need to, like, we weren't even fetching the actor components. We should be calling actor get components with the primitive components on it. I'm guessing. How does our gameplay statics do it? Does it get every actor? Get all actors of class. It's just doing that. Get all actors with tag. Actor has tag. Get actors with component. Have I considered making my own game engine? Well, that's what we did in college, is we made our own game engine. And, I mean, there's really not much of a point to doing that yourself nowadays, because if you want to ship your game, I want to ship it on everything if you can. Yeah, I wouldn't recommend making your own. Yeah, you just get component by class, or just get component. Get component by class, find component by class. It's just gonna iterate over every component and call isA on it. We want new primitive component pointer. Yeah. You're making your own game engine using Vulkan. Well, that is an excellent way to learn how to do everything. I can make it just a little bit larger, but I'm trying to, because this is also my work time, not just hanging out on Twitch time. So I try to find a bit of a balance there. So I'll make it bigger to see if that works. Let's see. I need to. Losing my train of thought. That's what I'm doing. Need to grab this. Yeah, that's what we did in college. Is make your own. Make your own game engine. You'll learn absolutely everything you'll ever need to know. And if you can make your own game engine, you can work inside somebody else's game engine. So, as a learning experience, I would say. I'm not on a 4K monitor. I'm running on 2560 by 1600. So I've got two HP ZR30Ws for my two main displays, and I got two which are just like 30-inch 4x3 monitors, so they're kind of big bricks. They're actually like heat lamps. You can put your hands on them, and they like radiate heat. They have these big metal heat sinks on the back. They're old. Just 4 monitors? Yeah, I got 4 monitors. And I got two 27-inch normal widescreen sorts of pieces of crap. But when I was doing server work, like, this is good for normal work and all that stuff, but server work, I would have like 6 monitors and 3 different computers and stuff like that. Because you'd have like, this computer right here would be production, and this one over here would be stage, and this one would be mainline. And you get paged, and you just like turn left to the production computer and start doing stuff. And then you pull up all the different servers that were doing all stuff across the fleet, and you'd be able to see all the things. So I'm actually running with less monitors and hardware than I am used to running with. Which, if you can believe that. Alright, so we're grabbing our actor. So what do we need to do? Basically, there might be more primitive components. So we probably just need to bite the bullet and do this whole like inline component array sort of stuff, and just like sort of stuff. Goddamn, nah. You need your engineers to be effective when you're working on stuff. It is. That's actually one of the things that was an issue at Amazon was until very recently, having 2 monitors was not standard for Amazon engineers. It was just when the games industry guys, just every single one of the people was just bringing in their own equipment because the standard monitors just weren't cutting it. And after they realized, like, oh man, our engineers are a lot more productive when we give them all sorts of fancy crap. So now it's like finally standard to have multiple monitors at Amazon and all that. Yeah, it makes sense for like 2 or 3 monitors for normal game devs. For server stuff, like it can get a little bit insane. And usually when you have a server fleet or something else, it costs money whenever those are down. So you'll usually have a couple engineers who have some super workstations. Like we called it the super desk back at EA that I had set up because it had everything. I'm just trying to think about what's the best way to like hold a data structure here for crawling these actors and knowing which actors need to register and which don't. Because I could have like a T set of actors, but I kind of need like a T set of it's kind of an issue of like, how do I know that I need to unregister, like if an actor has disappeared, I need to remove all of the, I mean, it actually gets back to the basic question of, is it just faster to iterate over all the actors in the scene and just add them to the rendering list than it is to, because I need to be able to remove all of the primitive component IDs. So I need to know if any primitive components are being removed from these things. And primitive components are anything that's renderable. So that's kind of not something I can really do. AWS Lambda? I hate Magic. So I hate Lambda. If something goes on in a server fleet that I'm in charge of, I want to be able to point at something and know this component's broken. I don't like magical systems where you don't know if something's busted or not. Those always kind of get on my nerves. Like with AWS Lambda, a lot of that's like, okay, it's magically running somewhere, you don't have to worry about it. That's good for a lot of things. Like it is good to not have to deal with a whole bunch of infrastructure, but I've just never been comfortable unless I have at least a box I can work in where I'm like, this is exactly what happened to my code. And that probably stems from a lot of the stuff that I was working on. Is I was working on like e-commerce systems and things like that. At least it was always like free-to-play games, right? So when you're doing a free-to-play game, e-commerce is a big part, and e-commerce has to be damned quick. Like if somebody presses that buy button, you need to give them the product immediately, because I just spent money. Give me things. And if there's something went wrong with those e-commerce systems, like you have to audit everything, and so if one part of your whole server stack has to be reliable like that, then why not have the rest of your server stack have the same reliability? That way you're not always saying it's this system's fault. So the question is, can I bind to the primitive component deactivate? Because I need to know when these primitive components get toasted. So I need to know like the on-destroy. Yeah, that's kind of the thing is, like Lambda and the rest there is pretty good for like stuff you don't need to work all the time, and you're just like, whatever, no problem, you know. So if you're using Lambda to like make your Slack chat bot or something else, like go for it. Who cares? But serious development requires other things. And the other thing was like, what if you're running code there that's doing stuff that you don't really like? It's taking data directly from customers, unsanitized or something else, and then running stuff on Lambda. You're just opening up a whole can of problems. God. Well, the question is, well, what we could do is just iterate over all the actors and re-add all the actors to the show only IDs and like just suffer that. So we're only iterating over the actors that have been registered or not. So do like one pass over the actors. And if we know you have primitive components, I mean, this still just goes back to just add the damn component IDs for every primitive component that ever existed, and we do that every damn frame. Because keeping these other data structures is going to take just as much work to keep them in sync with the universe as it is to just iterate over these damn things to begin with anyway. So all we need to do here is just do like append actor, get rid of unregister actor completely, and basically just do append actor, pass in a reference to a t-inline component array, and really that's all we're doing, is we're just calling append actor in this loop. Because that's one of the big problems with a lot of these engines and other things sometimes is you could make a more efficient system if you had more constraints, but we don't have constraints, so we're just kind of, we can't do like a smart register unregister. So sometimes it's better to not make a complicated system just because it doesn't get us anything. So we got crawl actors, we register an actor, it's gone, append actor is what there. And we need to just call, yeah, we need to just make this a private thing. Foreground, background. And I think Lambda and things like that are really good for kind of the growing class of DevOps guys, which are more, they're not like super coder engineers, but they're kind of like super sysadmin dudes who know a whole hell of a lot about how to do everything, and but haven't spent like 8 years programming or something. Make it all complicated. That's what I do. We make it complicated. Things like Lambda are great for lots of places that have DevOps guys who are not dedicated engineers in terms of like, okay, we're going to build an entire back end and a fleet for ourselves. But you give them all the tools and stuff like that, and they can hook it all together for you and maintain it, and kind of let Amazon be your engineer. And that's pretty cool. DevOps guys are, I think, kind of the new wave of engineer type, which combine a lot of the best stuff of engineering, because their entire job is basically to get rid of their job most of the time and make things automatic. Lambda, it's lambdas all the way down. Do we have the checks? Yes, we do. So, foreground, background, all that stuff, crawl actors. And we just need to call crawl actors in our update tick. We create shown actors. All we're doing is grabbing our captures. Position render planes. It's called an update camera position. So we should crawl our actors before we do the do that whole thing. We should just remove that and throw this in the tick. Just crawl the actors, and crawl actors should recreate this thing right here. Because we should be doing like if foreground it's not equal. That is rude to engineers? What? I'm rude to everybody, so that's how it is. Let's see, what is it? This show only IDs. Removes all elements set, potentially living space allocated for. Yeah, right. So we want to just call empty on these things. There we go. Read to everybody, can confirm. Welcome back, Adam. We're just talking about a bunch of stuff. I think we're just talking about DevOps engineers. It's really funny. Some people don't understand or don't really understand what a DevOps person does compared to like an IT person. So at one point we had at EA, kind of when EA 2D fell apart, we had new leadership come in and they didn't understand what a DevOps person was. So they put the IT manager in charge of our DevOps dudes. And so the IT manager was like, all right, welcome to the team and all this stuff. So your job is to like install Windows on people's laptops and to like refill the printer toner and the printer over there in the corner and all that. And like the DevOps guy is just like, are you fucking serious? What the hell is your problem? And just like immediately quit. Like, it was amazing. Yeah, it was just one of those things where or you just come in and be like, yeah, so you're in charge of emptying the trash cans. It's just like, fuck you, buddy. Just walked out. It was great. We pretty much had a celebration of quitting at that job. Like everybody just like went out to Jimmy John's to get cheesesteak sandwiches. Not Jimmy John's, but like Jersey Joe's. Got cheesesteaks and drank a bunch of beer and just like fuck this place and left. There were some amazing days there. So all of our actors should be crawled now, and we'll get all the things. And I've been super distracted the past like however long the hell this took to make, so we'll see if I screwed it all up or not. Yeah, so it looks like we added all of our actors properly to our scene. We got our shitty trees doing their shitty crap over there. Can blame Adam. Those are his trees. He drew them. They're all his fault. So cool. Let's just clean up whatever needs to be cleaned up. Take all this crap out. We don't need you anymore. Holy Mother of Bill time. What? What do you mean? The builds are taking too long, or they're good, or they're bad? Making trees less shitty. Yeah. Get on it. Let's see. We got that. Set up camera field of view. We can just take that out. Yeah, we don't need all this debugging stuff. Following, walking, snap to position. We might need that later. Alright, so what I think we do need to do now is we probably need to pull all those planes and all the rest of this crap into this object, or another object which kind of contains them. So let's think about how we're going to do that. Alright, so we finished doing that. So what we need to do is pull the render captures and planes into the player proxy in a much easier way. Because basically right now what we've got is, in order for us to make a level, you've got to like create these magical scene capture actor things and place them into the level. And we also need these planes that are specifically made as well to exist. And if they don't exist, then like none of this crap works properly. And what we want to do is just have like, we just want this standard player proxy actor, which has like, you know, the player on it. We just want you to, if you throw that in the scene, then like the level works, right? We don't want to be like, oh well, I made level 3, it doesn't work though. Why doesn't it work? Well, you didn't place, you know, plane shape plane 2 into it, and you didn't assign the right material to it, and you should know that, because I don't know why you should know that, but don't you know that? And so we need a good way to pull them all together, and we also need to start making this non-crap. So we need to make another folder in our content folder where we're going to stick like technical bits and bobs. So why don't we just make a new folder, and let's call it engine. And inside of this engine folder, we're going to put stuff. So we need to have our foreground captures, we need to have our actors, we need to have our textures and our materials, and our shape as well. So what we're going to do is we're going to drag this over here and say copy here, and that should copy all these assets. Then we're going to go rename all of them and reset them all up. And then what we're going to do is we're going to make it so when we call begin play with our player proxy, that we actually go create all of these things into the level. and hook up the tags properly and all that crap and get proper, U properties and the rest there. So let's get started on that. And I'll update. I'm not working on rendering optimizations anymore, so I'm just working on standard stuff. So we've captured everything, so we need our scene capture actor. This is going to be our background capture actor. This will be our foreground capture actor. Scene capture is our background. Render capture. This will be our foreground. Render capture. And I don't know how many people were here or are interested in what we're doing. Is we've set up our camera. Basically, we've got this 2D track along which we're running, which is this kind of 2D track we're running on. We've got a 3D background with 2D elements and a 3D foreground with 2D elements, and we're just kind of proving out that it works and making sure we got it all set up properly. And how we did that in Unreal, because Unreal doesn't let you do all this stuff as easily as you might think. If this is our camera, and this track here, this is our track in the middle. Our perspective camera for this thing, we've got 3 cameras. One is an orthographic camera, which is just viewing like this straight line here. It's just viewing everything just in order. And we've set its near clip and its far clip to, here's the near clip right in here, and here's the far clip. So we're basically, we render this box in here, and then we've got 2 of these planes actually set just inside the near clip and far clip, which we are doing a scene capture with our perspective cameras. One camera which goes and captures everything starting here, back, so it'll grab everything inside of here, and we throw that onto this plane here. And then we've got a foreground capture camera, which is set basically to capture here. And so we grab all this crap here, and we're going to throw it into the plane that's in front. And that's how we kind of compose our scene. So now we figured out that's what we're doing, and now we're pulling it all back together. So this is our background capture render target. So how we do that is you have a render target which you render to at a specific resolution, and then we can use that render target we can use that as a texture, which we can then apply to a material, which we then put on a plane, which we can then render using our orthographic camera. And we get all of our cool lighting and all that stuff. It just works. So what should we call this? We should call this the capture plane geo. This will be our background capture material.